Hello YouTube! So, for those of you who watched my previous video, you will remember that I addressed a certain YouTuber called iEmanuella, who espoused her views on homosexuality in a much more subtle but still slightly bigoted way, and I did call her out on her bigotry. And I pretty much did not pull any punches when I did so. But I would not say that my criticism was particularly venomous. It wasn't hostile to the point of bullying, or it could not be considered as such, I would think. However, there have been more venomous criticisms of iEmanuella, and with a lot of criticism comes a few, shall I say, white knights to her cause. Enter stateofdaniel, a Christian YouTuber I have personally never addressed up until this point. Now, I may not agree with a lot of his views, like the fact that he supports Sarah Palin, the fact that he has some rather interesting views on abortion. I don't really agree with him on a lot of things, but I felt that other YouTubers did such a good job in addressing his claims that I really did not feel the need to step in until now. So you can find the link to iEmanuella's video, my response video to her, in addition to stateofdaniel's video defending her actions in the description down below. With that out of the way, let's dance.
Hey YouTube, hope all's going well. Has anyone else found it perplexing that atheists and liberals are disproportionately represented online? Like seriously, atheists are less than 10% of the population, even according to the most generous studies, yet they're some of the largest channels on YouTube, and they come in droves to thumbs down Christian videos. I wonder where the horde of haters comes from. Oh yeah, from atheist content creators who use their platform as a bullying pulpit. You want to know why there aren't as many Christian and conservative YouTubers? It's because they're bullied into submission and end up shutting down their channel.
Daniel, let me ask you a question. Do you really think that 10% of the population could shut down the views of 90% of the population, as you claim? Because what makes the internet different from the rest of society is that it is anonymous, and there are very little repercussions for saying things that are controversial. So people will use that, as I do, to espouse my views on controversial topics that are normally taboo, like religion, like politics, things like that. And of course, there will always be others who abuse this anonymity, and they will use it to bully and threaten and harass other people. This happens on both sides of the coin. It is not exclusively an atheist behavior. I personally despise all forms of bully tactics, and I would never tell any of my subscribers to thumbs down a Christian or Muslim or religious YouTuber, because quite frankly, I don't care. Ratings to me don't mean as much as the actual content itself, and I think that if the content is good enough, if the content has its own merit, if it really can stand on a platform of credibility by itself, then I think that people will see that, and they will accept that, and they like that. But if you espouse bullshit, if you say a lot of controversial things that upset a lot of people, and you don't back yourself up with evidence, then expect to be called out on it.
Meet iEmanuella, who is the victim of atheist and liberal online bullying that got so bad that she deleted her YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. The comments she received were so vile, hateful, vulgar, and intolerable that you can't help but acknowledge that those who fight for tolerance are some of the most intolerant people online.
You know, I took a look at a lot of those comments, and at least the ones you showed, you don't really make a strong case for yourself. Because while there are some immature comments like, I want to fuck you, or I hope you get AIDS, or I want a lesbian to rape you, like, for all of those comments posted by trolls just for pure shock value, there are a lot of comments there that have legitimate criticism, like the fact that she was being a homophobic piece of shit. And if this is what you consider bully tactics, people saying, fuck you, you homophobic, bigoted piece of shit, if that statement is considered a bullying sort of statement, you Christians really need to get a thicker skin. Because I get those comments all the fucking time. From religious people, from non-religious people, from people who don't like the way I talk, from people who hate my guts. You know, I get those comments all the time just for being on the internet. Not even when I'm saying controversial stuff about religion. So, really, if that's what you call bullying, for crying out loud, toughen up. This is the internet.
In the aftermath of the Duck Dynasty controversy, iEmanuella made a video expressing her Christian views on homosexuality, and you can imagine how that went down. Now, I actually don't agree with everything she said. In fact, I actually didn't agree with most of it, and I only say that because I don't want you to think that I'm condoning her video. But she certainly did not deserve the amount of vitriol she received.
I think she deserved every bit of vitriol that she got from the supposed atheist side. Well, minus the comments about her getting raped or her getting AIDS, because those types of comments are just immature and distasteful, and nobody with half a brain approves of these types of comments, regardless of whether or not they are Christian or atheist or whatever.
Now, this whole incident is the result, or fault, of a response video that MrRepzion, who has over 200,000 subscribers, made to iEmanuella. Now, after the online bullying, MrRepzion released a comment denying fault and refusing responsibility. After all, he's not responsible for the comments his subscribers leave, even though he purposefully redirects them to her video.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, her video is linked down below. This has been a real talk on homosexuality.
I mean, it's not like he set the tone of how his subscribers should respond or anything.
I am not human. I am a robot. Subscribe to MrRepzion's channel. Must do as Repzion says. Do not possess free will. Must write hateful comment. No, but seriously. Just because Repzion linked her video in his description doesn't mean that he wanted people to go and flag her video down or flame her for making that video. Sure, he did not personally approve of her message in her video. Neither did I. Neither did, apparently, the majority of the internet. People are not brainwashed idiots, Daniel. They have views for themselves, and they decide for themselves what views they agree upon or don't agree upon. In this case, the majority of people agreed with Repzion, and the majority of people disagreed with her.
You'd think MrRepzion would know better than to incite his viewers to leave hateful and vulgar comments and redirect them to a girl who is obviously speaking from a place that she considers to be love and conviction.
Personally, I don't give a shit whether her views are based upon bigotry or if they're out of Christian love and concern. All I know is that her views themselves are bigoted. They're wrong, they're hateful, and they need to be called out.
It also doesn't help that MrRepzion's response video doesn't really make that much sense. I mean, he criticizes iEmanuella for using the Bible to make a Christian video. Are religious people not allowed to use their holy books all of a sudden?
Oh, don't get me wrong. You are most certainly allowed to use the Bible as the justification for your arguments. It's just a really shitty justification. Because, let's face it, you have to cherry pick. There is no escaping that fact. For example, iEmanuella cherry-picked part of Leviticus to try and suit her biblical needs. And she said, oh, well, thou shalt not lie with another man as thou wast with a woman. Well, isn't that funny how she saw that part of the Bible and she completely ignored all the rest of the shit, like how a lot of the Bible's prophets had like 50 wives and hundreds of concubines. So, yeah. If you're going to quote from the Bible as your source of morality, you're going to get a lot of shit for it. And to be honest, I think that's kind of justified. Let's put religion aside for now, because I have called out both religious and non-religious homophobes out there. So, I think it's necessary to call these people out for their bigoted views because their views are not helpful to society. It's not just a matter of, oh, you have the right to hold your views or not. They most certainly have the right to believe whatever they want. I just want everyone else, in society to know that I think their views are wrong. I think they're bigoted. I think that their views are unnecessary and perhaps even detrimental to the progression of society as a whole. And you cannot overgeneralize all of the negative backlash she received as hate speech or bullying, because a lot of it wasn't. A lot of it was legitimate criticism. A lot of it was people expressing their distaste at her views. And just as she has her opinion, those people have their opinions. Now, if they threaten her health and well-being, that's a different story. But from what I saw in not only your video, but from the comments on her video, most people who commented were generally disgusted with her views. And most people responded in a way that corresponds to how much disgust they had. And some people, yes, were immature about it. Some people were way over the line about it. But the majority of people weren't. And there are parts of the comment section that contained legitimate criticism of her views. And for you to overgeneralize that all as hate speech or bullying, I think is doing a disservice not only to atheists, but to Christians as well. By defending her, you are essentially showing how weak that view is, how weak people like that are, that they can't even withstand criticism. That's just my opinion, at least. Feel free to disagree with me. May the truth always be heard. Peace.